Hello, beautiful people.
Hi.
Welcome home, Reverend Lynn.
Thank you so much, Reverend Scarpa.
How was your trip?
Oh my God, it was a dream come true. I met up with 9 different friends over 4 different countries, over Paris, France. We went to Aachen in Germany, where there are 5 ley lines that meet, and there's a huge Atlantean crystal there.
Wow.
And we did an activation that was extraordinary. And then we were drawn to Saint Sulpice, and Magdalene was there, and that was really, really beautiful. Beautiful. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome. This is episode
Yes.
6,
Hi,
right?
Heather. I came home with this gorgeous moldavite ring. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with the power of the stone that is called moldavite. Moldavite is a stone that came in many, many years ago on an asteroid, and it has these incredible properties. And there was a time when the gentleman that I started the Soma Life Sanctuary with, James Spazakos, and I, we were being mentored by a being by the name of Metatron. Many of you may have heard of him. And James, during James's first channeling training weekend, he's like, "Oh, I guess there's some like Egyptian guy. His name is like T something T." And Metatron says, "Is it Thoth?" And I'm thinking, Thoth the Atlanteans. James is going to be channeling Thoth the Atlantean. Oh my God. And then all of a sudden, James started building these copper pyramids to the specifications of the pyramids at Giza. And he used copper poles and he used copper wire. And Metatron said, get pieces of moldavite and put them in little copper cages and hang them. So Rob knows, because this was like back in 2016, 2017, you would come to the house, this huge room that we're in now, which is decorated quite differently, but it was empty. And we had these 10-foot copper pyramids and these 8-foot copper pyramids, and they were aligned in the room, and the cat would lay under them. And I remember the first weekend I met Rob, he has a friend named Ellen, and Ellen came and did this whole video. And my mom and James and I were sitting under the pyramids. Okay, so Paris is this hub of all of this like psychic, crazy kinetic energy. And you could feel it while you were there. It was just wild and it was magical. And so Magdalene sent us to Saint Sulpice, and you could feel her energy. We walked in and there was a choir singing. There was Joan of Arc. And then one of my students, I wonder if she's here tonight. No, she's not.
Oh, I'm here, sweetheart. I'm
No,
out.
it wasn't, but it wasn't you. Wait, who just said I'm here?
Ellen.
It just says Zoom user.
Ellen. Elle.
No.
Can you hear
Ellen.
me?
Hi, sweet
Ellen.
girl.
Yes.
Hi, baby. It
Hi,
just says
love.
Zoom user. I didn't know it was
Hi.
you. There's just a beautiful sunrise. So one of my students reached out to me and she said, I keep having this message that I was Joan of Arc. And I looked into her Akashic records, and sure enough, there's an aspect of her that is. And she said, oh my God, it would explain so many things. There's this extraordinary thing about aspects. So, and Metatron explained this to me. He said, he used to call me, he would say, Venus, I mean Hathor, I mean Lynn. And I was like, all right, he does that enough time. You're like, all right, Metatron, what's going on? And he says, yes, everything is source and everything is one, but not really. He said, we definitely have these, I don't know what you want to call them, lineages that we come from. And he said, and you come from the lineage of Venus. And it made sense to me, my incredible connection with her, with Sanat Kumara. So we are drawn. Anyway, this student, Linda's in class with her. The student has this crazy, crazy connection with Joan of Arc. And there was this gorgeous statue of Joan of Arc, and they took pictures of her. So the whole trip was guided by, there are 5 ley lines that meet under the cathedral in Aachen. And, why would they put a huge Atlantean crystal there, everywhere we went, we were definitely touched by spirit in some way. the way that the stories all wove together. And for me, the most significant was when we went to Versailles, because I was at Versailles in 1987. And when I was there, I was like, why? I knew what everything looked like. It felt so familiar. It felt like home. It felt like I'd been there before. And then I met this young man, and he was like a reincarnation of Louis XVI. And I just remembered feeling like I was his sister. So I went into my own Akashic records and I looked up, and I was Madame Elizabeth, who was the youngest sister of Louis, one of the ones who was decapitated during the revolution. She lived at Versailles. And when I walked into Versailles this time, I immediately pointed to the left wing upstairs, and I'm like, my chambers were up there. And so we bought some books on Versailles, and sure enough, that's where the chambers were. They're private now. You can't go up to the third floor. But the whole trip was, what all of a sudden Spirit was like, you're going to Europe. And I'm like, I am. And they're like, yeah, and you're going to go to 4 different countries. And I'm like, I am. So there was work to do in each of them. There were things to do in Belgium. There were things to do in Germany. There were things to do in France. There were things to do in Amsterdam. And when I walked into the city of David a long, long time ago, oh, sorry, someone's trying to call me. Let me release the call. When I walked in the city of David many years ago, my Kabbalah teacher said, if you're here, you've been here before, and you're here to collect pieces of your soul that you left behind. And the entire trip felt like that. And Rob, I have a gift for you. And I got jewelry that I wanted to get, and chocolates, and ate way too much gluten. My skin broke out terribly. Got my mom this cute little house, a little windmill house, that little windmill turns. So just time of my life. Thank you for asking. So good. So good. So good, so good, so good. So thank you everyone for being with us tonight. Rob, you are muted, babe. I don't know if you're aware that you're muted, but if you've been
I
talking.
didn't know I was muted. But Lynn only got off the plane at what time today? 1 o'clock Eastern?
I got off the plane at 2. I
2.
got out of JFK at 4, because they've done this thing now where they've moved all the Ubers. They take you on this bus ride for about 10 minutes to like the off-lot parking, or long-term parking. And now it's brilliant the way they have this. You just dial up Uber and they know where you are, and they tell you they're going to pick you up at like K1 or K2 or L1 or L2 or M1 or M2. And they're there, and they're in, and they're out, and it just goes beautifully. But it was a long wait. And it's about 1 a.m. for me. So I'm about 1 a.m. jet lag time. So I'm good. I was not going to miss this. I left. I unfortunately left Rob last week, and the week before that, our delightful mentor, friend, and beloved one, Wendy, was here. So I'm very happy to be back. So welcome.
We had a great episode last week and the week before, but we did miss you. You were oft mentioned.
I love that.
Yeah. So Ellen, it's very funny that you mentioned Ellen, and she's here with us.
I know, that's so sweet. Elle, it's great to see you, baby.
Talking about something that happened so many years ago, and there's Reverend Elle, and
I know, how
another
cute.
one of my mentors.
I love you, sweetheart. Love you both. I think you're both magnificent. And I remember the copper pyramid, which was exquisite. The vibrational energy was off the hook. I get chills just talking about it.
Yeah. It's funny. They are literally lying on the floor of the garage. They have to be cleaned up. James said, get Brasso.
Yeah.
But he built these pyramids, and they were just like, my cat would just lie underneath them. Like the cat knew. And when we would put the plants under them, and Metatron said, put the water under them, put the food under them, when we would lie under them, it was just so powerful. The negative ion frequencies that get emitted from are so incredibly healing. I remember walking into the pyramids in Giza and just being like, blew my socks off. All that stuff.
What was very interesting was, remember, Lynn, how many people during our meditations would lay underneath them?
Yes.
The kids, the college kids.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, they came in just to lie under the pyramids.
Yeah, yeah. It was, and
God,
the plants definitely flourished under them. You
they
had some
did. They did.
plants that were having a tough time in the room, and once you put
Yep.
them under the pyramid, rejuvenated.
Yep. They were having a great time. A great time. So I have to tell you this crazy thing that's happening. My hair is getting darker. It's my sister said to me, "You dyeing your hair?" And I said, "No, of course I'm not dyeing my hair. Why?" She said, "Your hair's getting darker." And I just started to pay attention to it. So I just want to make a public service announcement. And this is not, there's no benefit I get off of this. I'm not sponsored by any of these people or anything. But there's this amazing man named Dr. Sebi, and he's no longer with us. But he was a vegan, and he said, be a vegan and take these certain supplements. And I've been taking the supplements, and they're things like spirulina, black seed oil, shilajit, sea moss. There's just, I take like 20 of these supplements in a day. And I just found this new one, and I'm so excited. I just got home and it's here. I don't remember what the heck it does, but when I buy these things, it's because I'm like, it seems like it's such a really good idea. But this thing is called Akkermansia, and it improves your gut health. So another one of these. One day I should do a thing and show you all the things I take, because I had a physical, and they're like, your nails are so strong. These are my real nails. I've never had nails this long and this healthy in my life. Like, it's crazy. My teeth are crazy strong. My skin is broken out only because I ate a crap load of sugar and gluten, croissants, and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I'm definitely a proponent of take your supplements. Burdock root, ashwagandha, all that kind of stuff. Anybody else do that kind of thing?
I take ashwagandha, spirulina every day.
Yep. It's so important. And you, Mr. Celery Juice, the one who got me hooked on celery juice.
That's right. My celery juice every morning.
100 bottles of supplements. I'm totally into it.
Yep. It's a great thing.
Make your mitochondria as strong as possible.
Exactly. So Rob, tell me what's been happening. What's new and exciting in the world?
I'm trying my best to stay out of the world and just in my own head. Because it's so self-defeating when you start paying attention to what's going on outside you.
Okay, let me ask a question again.
Yeah.
What's new and exciting in the spiritual realm?
In the spiritual realm. Well, in a message that I had read 2 weeks ago, from Jesus, I believe it was Brother Jesus, and it was the day that Wendy had joined us.
Okay.
And what Jesus had said in this message was, let me find it. But it had to do with, we've already ascended, but just the ascension of the earth has already happened.
Right.
It's just that we're getting caught up to it. We have to,
Yes.
catch up with what's going on. It's already the light is one, the light is one, the light has one.
Well, one thing he tells me all the time is make proper use of your time. He says one thing he mastered when he was here was time. He says, if you don't bathe every day, you're living in the past. Like, what?
I'm good with that. I have no problem bathing 2-3 times a day.
Yeah. But he really allowed himself to be present. He didn't hang out in the past. He didn't have regrets. He didn't have people he hadn't forgiven. Like, he lived so in the present. And he said that he mastered time, which I thought was brilliant. I thought it was quite
That's
brilliant.
it. That's what we touched on that last week. We talked about living in the now.
Yes.
How important
Yeah,
that
he's
is.
really, really big on that.
Live in the present and leave all that old stuff behind.
He was in the Essene culture, I've heard recently, and his hair was red when he was a baby and his eyes were blue. And his mother went there. Of course, they bathed a lot, so that's probably where he got the bathing thing. In Qumran.
Yeah, it's a big, it's that the Essenes were huge on acknowledging the angel of water, the angel of fire, and the angel of air every single day. Has anyone read the Essene Gospel of Peace?
Yeah.
The doctrines in there to honor the 7 angels of earthly mother and the 7 angels of heavenly father, and the addition of the prayers to the earthly mother, you know, our Father who art in heaven, our mother who art the earth, and how, a lot of that got dropped out. So Wendy is channeling this extraordinary being right now by the name of Mother Maya. And Mother Maya is fiercely committed to the balancing of the divine feminine. Hold on one second. I've got an alarm going off that I just need to turn off. Okay. Rob, do you have that for us, my love?
I'm sorry?
You have the piece from Jay for us?
Oh, no, I read that 2 weeks ago with Wendy. I just wanted to, because you'd asked what has been going
Okay.
on in the last few
Yeah.
weeks. I just wanted to touch on that.
So what did he refer to in there?
Well, Jesus had said that the ascension has already occurred.
Mm. Yeah.
Let me get to the right page.
We're getting caught up with it.
Greetings,
Yes.
beloved. I'm delighted. The light has won, the light has won, the light has won. So there's no need to focus on that because it is already so, even if it does not seem that way. So it's just a matter of all the energies realigning, recoalescing, and moving us out of this 3D matrix and into this 5D experience of heaven on earth. Okay.
Right.
So that's what's occurring. We're seeing, from my perspective and how I approach it and look at it, we're seeing the last of the darkness, the last of the negative energies throwing their hands up in the air and doing everything they can to disrupt anything they can, and continue with more of the same. And it doesn't matter which group, it's just them as a whole are trying to stay in power versus all of us who are trying to live in oneness and love and compassion. And that's what we just need to focus on. And that was pretty much Jesus's message. Well, there was a lot more to it, but that was it. And then I believe Metatron came in and touched on a few of the topics after that.
Right.
Last week, I believe I read a message from Hathor. And this week I have another message from Hathor. So I'm not trying to monopolize on your Hathor, but
Who is he?
Excuse me?
Who's that? Hathorn.
Lynn,
Okay.
what would be the best explanation for Hathor?
Hathor is the Egyptian goddess of women. So can I just for protocol, the person who's listed as Water Acumen who just spoke, can you tell me your name?
I'm Susan.
Hi, Susan. Susan, I'm going to ask you guys to mute while you're in here rather than just speaking out. This is actually a platform for Rob and I to do a podcast.
Oh,
And
sorry. for that.
no, you're fine. I'm just gonna explain the protocol. So if you guys have questions, please drop them in the chat, and I'll definitely tell you who Hathor is. Hathor is an aspect of Venus. She is the Egyptian goddess of women. She is known for having a symbol that is a sun disk with cow horns on either side of it. And she is fierce. When I channel Hathor, it's probably one of the most kind of I call her chop motherfuckers. Like she's like, look, here's what we're here to do. Here's how we're here to do it. And get in line. And she's fierce. She comes from Lyra. I had a painting that was done of her by an incredible artist out of England. And when she came, her ears actually bent in and she had lips that almost curled up like a cat. And I said, why do you look like that? And she said, because we are from Lyra. And Lyra is the first race that actually seeded what was life on Gaia long time ago. And you can read about that in the Prisms of Lyra. But Hathor is so fiercely connected to the balancing of the divine feminine. And it was funny, my mom and I were just having a conversation about Christianity, and how Mother Mary was revered as a virgin, how Magdalene was told to be a prostitute, and how there's the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost with no mention of the divine feminine. I said, did you realize that God had a wife? And she's like, he did. And I said, well, how do you think all this came into creation? She said, well, God created it. And I said, yeah, with his wife. His wife's name is Ashira, and she's one of the beings that I channel. So there's way more to it. And the light has one, and we're exactly what you said, Rob, like we're catching up with that, So I love that Hathor's showing herself.
Oh yeah. And it's not for me when Hathor comes in, it's very loving. There's no broken bottles.
You are one of her favorites, but you know that.
I guess so. So this is what came in. I started my normal meditation in the morning, and I asked, dear Spirit, please tell me what it is I need to know. Greetings, beloved. It is I, Hathor, with you now, and I am delighted to have your ear this day. Beloved, please understand that as all begins to change and the pace quickens, rapid will be the transition of so many into the new earth that you and many will not even realize what is happening. You will simply pick up where you left off, but without all the chaos of the past, and only good intentions for all. So this is what to expect in the new earth. So be not concerned, but only relieved that the transition will take place seamlessly and without duress. Each and every one of you is a divine being of light and will be treated as such. We are honored to be part of your transition and shift, and delight in witnessing the ascension firsthand. And as so many races have gathered to witness the birth of a new earth, where lack and control are no more, and abundance is the prerequisite for everything required to make life a dream instead of a chore. So as this shift and change of consciousness continues to unfold and evolve, simply remain calm and share in the excitement with us as we chauffeur in the new energies needed for liftoff. This is an experience that will go on your permanent record, and as such, will then trump all other lifetimes and experiences combined. So do your best to help those who inquire and guide them to a place of peace. Encourage all that you can to look within for the answers they seek and ask the questions, for you know the answers are always available to the seeker. So again, beloved, I and we say thank you. Thank you for your diligence and commitment to the cause of freedom and the golden opportunity before you, one and all, to make the shift and change your life for the better. Please remember that there are legions of light here at your service, ready and waiting to assist. So use the same techniques to connect with all those wanting and waiting to assist in this expansion of humanity and the freeing of all souls trapped within the matrix of belief, so often referred to as hell on earth. Celebrate what is before you and only expect the best and most benevolent outcome for everyone. I am your Hathor, and I leave you now. Farewell, beloved, and namaste.
Beautiful. She is fierce. So when Hathor left Gaia, Isis came in, put Hathor's mantle upon her head, and took up the teachings. And Tess just dropped in that she is one of the goddesses that is mentioned in the Sophia Code of the 8 goddesses that are there. 7 goddesses and then the golden Sophia dragons. And Hathor is just the representation of the most fierce divine feminine energy that I think I've come across, except for maybe Mother Maya. And she is a powerhouse. If you search her, you will find tons of information. If you reach out to her and you talk to her, you'll find incredible information as well. So there's a group of us that are doing a 4-year training program, and we are Essenes. We have Metatron, Melchizedek, Elijah, Hathor, Yeshua, and Magdalene that are being channeled by myself and Wendy. We've added in Mother Maya, and actually Lucifer Morningstar has come in to basically say, the light has won, and it's time for everyone to make their way back home, and it's time for people to stop choosing fear over love, things like that. And one of the things that we've pulled together is a group of people that are what are called the Kalu. And the Kalu are beings that were in Atlantis that helped to bring forth what were the therapies in Egypt and the Essene communities in Qumran and other places, Carmel, and to herald when Yeshua came in, to bring forth what got devastated in Atlantis and bring it over to Egypt. And one of the girls from my group, there are two of them that are incredible visionaries, two of my students that come forth, and we meet as a separate group just talking about, the gathering of the Kalu and everything that's been here. And what we're in the process of doing right now is recreating what are going to be known as the Egyptian Essene mystery schools. And we're going to be teaching children, and we're going to be teaching young adults, and we're going to be teaching old adults, because some of us need this more than anybody. The ancient ways, the old ways. Rob, I include myself in that. I am not excusing myself from any of the behavior, and I think that what is the responsibility of every single one of us is to do a personal inventory. Where are we holding grudges? Where are we being jerks? Where are we being, downright assholes with people? Where are we holding people in judgment? Because when you judge someone, you literally send them darkness. You literally curse them with judgments. And really what we're doing is we're looking at a mirrored aspect of some part of ourself where we say, I can't accept this thing about me. I'm going to project all this stuff. I'm going to judge this other person because it's really an aspect of me that I don't want to take a look at. And that is our daily work. That is the work that we need to do with, for, and of ourselves. And, there's so many tools and techniques, breathing, using the violet flame. It's so funny. Someone, when we were in Europe, they're like, did you realize there are degrees to the violet flame? And I said, oh, tell me more, Oh, well, you can't just use the one violet flame for everything. Hi, Megan, sweet girl. Precious Megan, I get home and there's a box that it says Megan Koskowski, 200 Oakwood Road. And I'm like, huh? And I go, Megan, did you send me a gift or is this here by accident? And she's like, no, don't you remember I sent you that oil? And it's this most delicious tube of Mary Magdalene fragrance. So thank you for that, Precious. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That happened when I just got home. So I love that. So we all have this, it's our responsibility. Jesus, make a list of everything you need to forgive. Things you said you'd do and you didn't do, things you said you'd never do and you did them anyway. The promises that you made that you broke one way or the other. All the people that you want to hold judgment out to. My mom, God bless my mom. She's just gotten back with her boyfriend for the 9th time. And this time I just blessed it. And I'm like, go, have fun, have a great time. Live large, do whatever you need to do, be happy. I will not stand in judgment of anything. It's her life. I get to go to Europe and have a blast, and she gets to stay here and have a blast,
Right, we only get one opportunity in this meat suit, so do with it what you want. Live the dream, without hurting other people, of course, right? It's about living the dream, living in love. This morning,
or hurting ourselves,
I was in a meditation while driving, it took me a long time to realize that there was such thing called the driving meditation, right? Especially when you're comfortable with where you're going, you're used to the road, the trip. It's second nature to go to a particular place every day. And so for me, it's been one of the starting points for a lot of messages that came in, especially in the beginning. And every so often, if I'm in the right place. And this morning, the energies were just flowing. I was talking to one of my sisters, and my mother stepped in, and then my father stepped in and had a bunch of messages. And then about an hour or two later, I was driving on the expressway, and I don't know what energy came in, because I was discussing the ascension and how we are moving past, and moving into the 5D. And I just heard live, love, laugh. And I remember when in the 1980s or maybe the late 70s, there was a bumper sticker, a sticker that was on the car, you know, besides the little smiley face, there was a live, love, laugh. And Spirit, whatever the energy that was there, said that's all you need. That's all it was. My question was about healing. How do we heal all these things that we don't, you know, that we encounter throughout the day? And the answer was just live, love, laugh, the 3 L's. And I said, okay, that's easy. If laughter is the best medicine and
Yeah.
love is what we're all about, and living in the now is where we're supposed to be, then I'm going to get some stickers made up. Live, love, laugh, like we used to have.
Mhm. That's adorable.
Maybe
There's
it's
a
thing to
song
do,
that
you know?
Lenny Kravitz sings called Let Love Rule. And first of all, I love that song. Secondly, I love Lenny Kravitz, but I had that as a tagline on my phone when I would message people and then get a message that said, let love rule. Like, it's funny, we were on this plane and it was like 2 seats, 4 seats, and 2 seats. And I was in the bulkhead so I could stretch out, which I love. And, you still get extra space and extra blankets and pillows and all that kind of stuff. This 8-hour flight back. And there's this woman behind us and she had this little boy and he was just cranky. He was not having it. So she's blasting Baby Shark out loud. No, and Baby Shark, I think there's, it's just like, it's that Baby Shark, Baby Shark. And that's all it, that's the line for
That's it,
hours.
over and over again.
For hours and hours and hours. And I was like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put in earbuds and I got 8 hours. I can watch 4 movies, 2 hours each. So I watched movies that made me laugh, like The Proposal and, things just put a smile on my face. And you put those earbuds in and you turn on that movie and you're just, Baby Shark is gone. Except when they come to serve the food and they got to talk to you. And it's like the woman next to me was so annoyed by it, but also the little boy was kicking her chair. That, I can get that. But it's like I just had to bless the situation. And I'm thinking of Lucifer, and Lucifer saying in Outwitting the Devil, I have control over 98% of humanity because there is a law in the universe. It's the law that lets you be hypnotized. It's called the law of hypnotic rhythm. And I induce people to be in fear. And this is why I control 98% of humanity. And he said, who I'm scared of and who is the most danger to me are the ones who are able to think for themselves. And I was standing there in line and I'm thinking, all right, I can be stressed out and worried about this, that they couldn't get my boarding pass right. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to think for myself. I'm going to send love to everybody in the airport. I'm going to let this line go quickly. And I'm just going to have it be like a magical, magical moment for myself. I'm going to connect to my heart. I'm going to put myself in theta. And it completely transformed everything. And I said to Lucifer, is this exactly what you don't like? And he says, yes. He said, well done. He actually wants us. He's over it. Like he's won the game, He actually wants us to get out of this so everybody gets to go back and goes to heaven, Anyway, it was just a beautiful moment.
Let's celebrate.
Yeah, it's done. It is done.
So many messages say that over and over again. Celebrate with a capital C.
All right. So yeah. Hatherleigh's going to come through.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Let me mute.
She says, I want to come through. And I'm like, I'm really tired. And she's like, I don't care. She does not give a fuck. Okay. Oof. Mm. Greetings, beloved ones. Beloved ones.
Greetings.
Each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you, precious being. Each and every one of you has a certain degree of responsibility of what it is that you are bringing forth through your specific consciousness. It is the way in which you relate and interact with yourself. Let us start there. It is the way that you relate and interact with your family. Do you have disagreements with them? Do you hold judgments against them? Do you think that they should be differently than the way that they are? Do you think that you should be differently than the way that you are, beloved ones? To this we say, pish posh. We say you are exactly who you were defined to be. Imagine if the best news that you could possibly have, beloveds, is that you have done nothing wrong. Every choice you have ever made has truly been in alignment with the lessons that you were meant to learn, or the lessons that you were meant to teach. And what if you could come to the same self-realization, beloved, that you are a masterpiece, that you are divinity in motion. Allow your thoughts to align with that brings you peace, that brings you comfort, that brings you joy, it makes you smile. Allow that to be what leads you. But instead, you will cling to, oh, I have not done this, or oh, I have not done that. Forgive yourselves and move on, beloveds. There is no use dawdling or worrying about what didn't get done. If there is something that is to be gotten done, beloveds, then merely do it. Or not. It does not matter. But the energy that you give to yourselves to worry about all of the things from the past, or the anxiety that you create worrying about things for the future, beloveds, indeed take a page from the book of Yeshua ben Joseph and allow yourselves to indulge in the present. You will find nothing but sheer joy and happiness and pleasure there. To this we say, bravo, for those of you who will allow yourselves to disengage from the monkey mind, as it is called. We like this phrase very much. The monkey mind that says that you must be other, or one must be other in the way that they are. Allow yourselves to just be the pure being of divine love and light that you are. To this we say we support you in all things. Allow yourselves to see the truth of you. You are not any of the noise or the nonsense that you have made yourselves out to be. We thank you for your attention. We thank you for your time. We love you, and we are indeed with you always, and we shall continue to be so. Greetings and salutations, precious and beloved beings. And indeed, we shall speak with you again. Ooh. She calls them sheer indulgences. When we choose fear, we choose judgment, or any of that stuff. She just calls them sheer indulgences. Not necessary. She says, if you're gonna indulge in anything, let it be chocolate. I guess she had a fondness. I don't know where she got her hands on chocolate. I found this one little chocolate shop. Like, you walk in, here's the beautiful thing about Europe. Here's the cheese shop. Here's the meat shop. Here's the chocolate shop. Here's the vegetable shop. Like, all these cute little shops. So you walk in and there's nothing but chocolates. And I'm with my girlfriend, Matanya, and she's this extraordinary artist. She does these incredible paintings, like 4-foot tall paintings of ascended masters. And there's a palette with paints and a little paintbrush, all made of chocolate. And our friend Lynn ends up buying that for her. She has it in a box. She's going to take it home. And I found these little round balls. Milk chocolate with pralines and nuts, almonds inside of them. And I brought them home for my brother. And my mother saw them. She tore right into them and just started eating. So cute. So
it's interesting what Hathor just said, that, and you reiterated that fear is an indulgence. We indulge. I would never have thought of it as an indulgence, but Actually, that's as accurate as it gets.
Because it
And,
takes us out of the present instantaneously.
Yeah,
Oh, fear, shame, regret, past, anxiety, worry, fears, future.
future, right,
And
right.
it robs us of this moment. I don't mean to take your name in vain, babe. It just literally robs us of the moment, And then we like love exists in the present. You, you know, you could love a memory, you could have something that you treasure, but what you're treasuring is how it makes you feel in the moment that you're allowing yourself to remember it. We coincidentally were by this adorable park right at the square where uh, Victor Hugo lived. And there was this fabulous restaurant. Oh my God, if you've never had scrambled eggs in Paris, I'm telling you, you've never lived. I had no idea scrambled eggs could be this delicious. We just went to this little cafe, and there was a beautiful little park there, and it was just this innocence of just sitting on a bench, looking at the trees, just being present to the beauty of nature, saying thank you, angel of earth, thank you, angel of water, thank you, angel of air, thank you, angel of fire, feeling the sun on us when we were on a cruise on the River Seine, and just reveling in being on the water and being alive. They were getting ready for the Olympics, which start on the 15th, and everything was in disarray and traffic was crazy, but it didn't matter because it was still Paris. But it's like, I just have as much joy just sitting here in this sanctuary, in this beautiful room that my brother and my family have helped me create. The over 1,000 people that have walked through here that have left their psychic energy imprint, you know, from the pyramids to everything else, the crystals, the magic, all of it. If we can just allow ourselves to be present to the love we have in our lives at every moment, that's the magic. That's divinity. Because anything else is just an indulgence in fear. And Lucifer's like, ding, got another one, another notch in my belt. He's over it. He's really over it. Swear to God. Swear to God. What else, my
It's been
love?
a wonderful return for you. It's been a wonderful return.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you, Rob, Jesus was like, you're going to Europe. And I'm like, okay. For what, a weekend? He goes, no, for 2 weeks. And I'm like, what? He goes, there's work to do. There's some people we need to touch. There's some things we need to activate. And we were just led. It was beautiful, to live that way.
Kiku says the I am is the 0 point field. Yes. ETM, whatever comes on the expression of or experience. Soul mission, ETM. Enjoy the moment. Thank you, Matik. He's got a few comments in here.
Enjoy the moment. I love that.
ETM, enjoy the moment. Yes, absolutely. Live in the moment. Yeah, the now. Yeah. Sophia consciousness, 8 initiation code. Hathor is one of the 8 in the Sophia code.
She is. It's Hathor, it's Isis, it's Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin, White Buffalo Woman, Green Tara, the Golden Sophia Dragons. I did a book club on that a couple of years ago. I have the recordings from Kyra of her reading the initiations. It's so powerful. If you guys want to come across a book, or you may already know of it, the Sophia Code is an extraordinary book. Another one is the Magdalene Manuscript by Tom Kenyon. I should make a list. We should do a conversation like of our favorite books. So many fabulous books.
Definitely. Susan Water Acumen has a comment that I don't want to wrap up without touching everybody's input. And she says the old way I call the visionary field. I teach that too. This week I've been resonating with the Violet Flame, Metatron, the I Am, Dolores Cannon, and always Jesus. Yeah. I was popped into the visionary way of living in 1980. Love was the way I chose. Very interesting. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Susan, for that. And Matiku,
Beautiful.
action yoga. While doing activity, be in the awareness of union with the I am, God self. The I am in the library. I am in the library, trying to reconnect outside the library. Okay, so that's one about it, is internet connection. The plot, okay, but the 0 point, yeah, so a visionary field. So there's a lot of different topics we touched on tonight. I apologize for us bouncing around. Lynn and I didn't even have a chance
Fine, you're fine. You're fine.
to discuss a oh, you muted yourself, hon. Lynn, you muted yourself. Must be talking to moms. Her
It's
mother's a doll.
my mother is a living doll.
Yes.
It's
absolutely.
just she was suddenly in the kitchen clanking silverware and running water, and I just asked her if she could give us a few more minutes.
Yeah.
A few more minutes. Okay, Rob.
Have
So
anything,
here's my question for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Of the over 1,000 messages that you've produced since January of 2019, what is your favorite one? Like one that you keep going back to? One that has just touched your heart and your soul, and it's your favorite. And if you don't have the answer to that, will you bring that next week? Because I would love.
Bring that next week.
Okay, deal.
I will have to.
They just told me, they said, ask him what his favorite is. And I'm like, okay. I would love to know what the answer to that is. And maybe you need to.
Question. You know, I'll be honest with you. The first thing that came to mind, and I didn't want to say it right away. But it really does hit me. And it's that message I read last week on July 3rd, when I was discussing American history, and Nathan Hale showed up.
Mhm.
And that message that I read last week, again, you know, it's 5 years ago, that message, but it felt like it needed to be shared again last week. And when I listened to it, and I happened to rewatch the episode today because I wanted to critique myself and see make sure I'm not doing anything wrong, you know.
You're not.
And you know, with gestures, motions, I do a lot of talking with my hands, I noticed. So tonight I've been very careful to keep them damned up. But that particular message and the way it rhymed and the way it resonated and the confirmation from that energy that we knew each other, we had a shared experience. And to me, that's probably it stands out as the most confirming of all the messages that I have. Not all the messages pertain to me. They're not specific to me or to a particular happenstance. But that particular message just still, it resonates. And it's like, boy, I need to revisit that. I've never touched base with him again. I did go down the road and talk with other energies of that time period, but I never really went back to Nathan. So maybe I guess I need to revisit that. That's my answer for now. If it changes next week, I'll have that one ready and I'll read it. But that one right now kind of stick out the most because he tells me, a brother of mine you surely be, and I just no recollection. So
it's interesting. I'm about to lead this extraordinary year-long mastermind. It's something that I haven't done in the way that I'm going to be doing it. Yeshua and Magdalene are going to be leading it with me. And I'm like, okay, there's 33 tools and techniques that we're going to be teaching. I'm like, okay, let's do this thing. And I said, I'm going to put 12 people in because I'm willing to be responsible for, you know, the mentoring of 12 people. And Yeshua goes, 18. And I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. Okay, 18. And I go, okay, 9 months. And he goes, 10 months. I'm like, okay, fine. Then the other day in Holland, he goes, well, it's going to be a year. It's going to be revolving. And I'm like, wait, you can't do that because people have to learn this and people have to learn that. And I talked with my mentor and she said, no, it doesn't have to be in order. But the substance of what you're doing has to be in everything. And if the substance of what I'm doing are the Essene Egyptian teachings, and that's basically what all this is, then it's in everything and it doesn't have to go in a particular order. So the people that are being gathered, there's already like 9 people that are committed to this thing. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be extraordinary. And Jesus is like hand picking the people. And I couldn't be more excited because he's like, we're establishing the Egyptian Essene mystery schools. Like these are literally going to be physical schools. They're going to be around the world. And we're going to need teachers for this. And this weekend, as if I don't have enough to do, on Friday, I drive to Maryland, 5 hours, to attend the second level of the pranic healing and the psychotherapy that they do. And every time I've used this technique, Yeshua goes, this is how we did it. This is how we did it. So my introduction to the Essene community came in the Essene Gospel of Peace. It was, all of the books, everything of Dolores Cannon, and then Stuart Prentice and Anna Wilson. No, Stuart Wilson and Joanna Prentice. And all of her books and the Magdalene books, and so many of the thousands of books and that are about the Essene community. But I found myself smack dab in the middle of that, and there's just no denying. Those of us that are drawn to this are part of this community, and it is our responsibility to bring it back out of the shadows. This is the time of the great remembrance, and what I'm being asked to do right now is to teach the teachers, to teach people to do the things that I do, so that they can go out in the world and teach the next level of teachers. And I just want to acknowledge 2 of the people that are here tonight that are going to be joining me on that path. And one is Linda Toma, and one is Megan Kuskowski. Megan, thank you again for that. That's absolutely gorgeous. And Rob, we need to have a conversation because they want you to be a part of that as well.
Oh,
So we'll have that chatty chat.
I'll talk tomorrow.
We'll talk.
That's it.
We'll talk.
So,
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to bring up? Because otherwise, I would just like to open the floor briefly and see if anybody has anything that they.
Yeah.
Two.
Two things. I have a really fun masterclass that's happening on Friday. It's called SAFE, and it's an acronym, and it stands for Sacred Alignment with Feelings and Emotions. And there's a class that I'm going to be teaching on this subject, in which you are going to learn this extraordinary process for making friends with your emotions so that they can be experienced by you in the most healthy, breathworthy, loving, divine way, not where you're overwhelmed by them, need to stave them off, need to deny them, keep them at bay, all that stuff that we do with all those feelings that then metastasize illness in our body. So that's happening. That's very, very exciting. And then, Yeshua wanted to come forth and answer any questions. So we'll take these next 7 minutes. And then after 2 channelings, an 8-hour flight and jet lag, I'm going to go snore my.
Anybody have any questions for Yeshua?
All right, here we go. I'm going to let you MC this thing. Okay.
Okay.
So guys, if you have questions, raise your hand, drop a question.
Put it in the chat.
Do we unmute?
Yeah, if you don't want to put it in the chat, you can unmute and ask the question.
What?
Yes. Go ahead, Sue.
Yeah, when Yeshua, when you were in a monastery in Tibet, how long were you there?
What would be known as 7 years. Beloveds, we may need to have this be a shorter conversation, as this body is very tired. And the being is very willing, but the body is very tired.
Okay.
What would be known as 7 years was the time that we have our studies. What we wish to say to you is that if you will give us attention, if you will engage with us, if you will speak with us, if you will direct your questions to us, speak them aloud, for there's a lot of nonsense that goes on within your heads where you're fighting with your neighbors or upset because you forgot your dry cleaning or you need to get the car washed or whatever it is that goes on within your heads along with everything else. But if you have direct requests, if you have direct prayers, we ask you to pray them, to speak them, to ask them aloud. This would be our request of you. Call upon us. We cannot say this often enough. Call upon us to allow us to assist you. For those of you that speak light language, for those of you that use these devices, for those of you that are using the Aramaic letters, the Aramaic prayers, have intentionality when you do so, beloveds. Know what the letters mean, know what the words mean. Many of you will not yet have allowed yourself to recall the light language that you speak, but when another speaks it, do it with directed intention, and you will notice an incredible power that is behind them. Now, one more question before we must depart.
Yes, I believe there's a question from, can you ask Yeshua, why am I here? And to help humanity, I was told I was a healer, but never see results. And this is from Michelle Langdon. This is the most common question of all. Why am I here and what is my purpose?
There are three parts to why am I here. You are here because you volunteered and you raised your hand. You are here because you are meant to aid in the Great Awakening. You are here at this time to aid in the Great Awakening. But who must awaken and who must remember first is you. And then when you do that, you can truly be of aid and assistance. And then the third part of why you are here is to love and to be loved. And when you forget how loved you are, beloved, call upon me. Imagine you and I in an embrace. Imagine us holding hands. Imagine us breathing together. Imagine yourself being held when your heart aches. Imagine yourself being loved by me. If you knew the legions of support and love that you have around you, it would indeed fry your brain, which is what we are attempting to do, because it is filled with so much noise. It is not necessary. Allow yourself to come into silence, beloveds, and allow yourself to just feel. Come out of your heads and come into your hearts and meet us there. We love you all dearly. We thank you. And we will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Greetings and salutations, beloveds.
Thank you, Yeshua. Thank you very much. Always
Dude,
such a gentle energy when Yeshua comes in. It's always so laid back, so chill.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us this week. And thank you, Lynn, for staying up and joining us.
I can't even keep my eyes awake. My mother literally came in here. I have 2 huge suitcases filled. I was like showing her all the gifts and showing her all the jewelry and showing her the this and the that. And while we're in the podcast, she comes down, she starts organizing and closing, and just like, oh God.
That's what moms are for.
It is.
It's all about the love, right?
It is.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us this week. Thank you, Michelle, Sue, Paula, Megan. Good to see you again, dear. Linda, Tiku. I think we had Dave and Ellen, but Ellen's gone. I think Dave is gone. So, but look forward to seeing everyone again next week. It was a delight to be able to share these messages and these stories with you. And if there's, come prepared with questions. You never know. You never know what's going to come. And let me just go back to that one thing that was spoken about, what Jesus said about asking out loud, enunciating it. When you put something to words, you're sending out a vibration. It's a hard, solid vibration. When you're talking, you cannot think. You cannot think about other things when you're talking. One shuts off and the other turns on. So that's what he's saying. Turn off the noise, ask the question out loud, then, listen.
I just made a list of 105 things to accomplish this year on my way to 111 in a project that I'm doing with my mentor in a mastermind. And it was amazing to put, and then all of a sudden I had like 7 of them happen. And that was like 2 days ago.
Interesting.
Write down what you want and let the universe, because every time it's that beautiful, Abraham Hicks, ask and it is given. As soon as you ask for it, the universe goes, boing, and it sits here waiting for you to slide your I'm willing to receive so that it can plop into your life. Anything and everything that we ask for, they provide. Boom. Done.
Be open to receiving, everyone. Be open to receiving.
Exactly. All right, beautiful people. It's 8 o'clock. It's my witching hour.
Thank you all for joining us. We look forward to seeing you all again.
I love you, Robert Scarpa.
Love you, Lynn. Thank you, hon.
Let's visit.
Yes, I'll stop by tomorrow.
Please, I'd love that. All right.
Okay.
Good
So
night,
long,
everyone. Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much.
Thank you, Lynn and Rob. Thank you.
Thank you, Tico.
Bye,
So
love.
long,
Bye,
brother.
Tess.